Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Here are 10 winter essentials that elevate. So instead of doing another video where I talk about how much I love heat tech and how much I love cashmere cardigans, I want to talk about 10 things that will elevate your wardrobe and the specific details to look out for. There is always such a disconnect between wardrobe basics and the kind of outfits I want to create. The answer is usually not buying another black blazer or another pair of blue jeans or another classic cashmere crew. It's in the little details that I would look out for that helps us achieve this look that is more layered, more cozy, and feels like it can be mixed and matched in 101 ways. I am not in winter at the moment, but this is kind of what I will be packing when I go away in a few weeks to a wintry climate. This is my vision board and my mood board, and it's also what I love to wear winters past. Because it's a winter edit, let's just start off with the hero piece, which is your coat or your outerwear. As much as I love a beautiful plain coat, if I could only choose one, I would recommend a patterned coat. So whether you go for a check coat like my Tibby one here, or whether you go for something with like a little herringbone or a little bit of tweed or speckled wool, something that has a slight pattern to it so it creates depth in an outfit. A lot of my winter outfits is styling plain things, so a block colored knit and jeans, for example. So this coat just adds that pattern and speckles of color into any outfit. Don't get me wrong, a plain coat can be just as chic, but this is one of those underrated pieces that I think we can all consider, even if we have a very small wardrobe and even if we're just looking for that one coat. This is exactly as versatile as a plain coat, and it helps with creating that layered look. Looking at past winters, you know, for the last almost decade, I have always loved a check or pattern coat. This is almost 10 years ago, and you'll see me wearing that grey coat with the pattern on it as well. Something to know here is that the patterns I'm drawn to are micro. They're very small because I have purchased like big pattern coats that haven't been as versatile, and it's really those micro patterns that will function as your classic, but just with a twist. Everything in this video is tried and tested. Everything is a staple that will last. And it's not just about trends that elevate, it's about timeless things that just add depth to a winter wardrobe. A bit of a style epiphany I had is that in my favorite winter outfits, the knitwear is always super textured, super cozy. And you can achieve this textured cozy look with mohair or alpaca. Going a few years back, I always loved Pinterest outfits that were super cozy for winter, but I always struggled to achieve this, and it's because I was wearing a lot of flatter knitwear textures and it just didn't give off this warmth and coziness. This is the piece that I was missing. This is an alpaca wool knit. It's super soft, super cozy. Even though it's in a simple black color and there's nothing too special about it, it's become one of my most worn pieces because it adds that texture in otherwise flatter items I own. Added bonus for this item: if you're wearing a lot of nylon in things like puffer jackets and raincoats and windbreakers and shells, this also contrasts those pieces really well. Those pieces are usually very flat in texture. It is smooth. So this just creates that coziness against that nylon finish. Whereas a flat finish with a nylon, they can all run very flat. For item number 3, let's talk about why white shirts and white t-shirts are so popular in styling. It's because they create that very flat, crisp contrast to the other textures and other clothing pieces we're wearing. It's why a lot of styling will show like a little color popping through against knitwear. It has that crisp texture against all those wintry pieces. So knowing that, and knowing myself, I don't really like to wear white shirts. I love to be able to introduce something flat in texture so that it creates contrast in my winter outfits. If you live in a milder climate, it can absolutely be like a white t-shirt, and then you have that white t-shirt visible inside a cardigan, inside a coat. But if you live in a colder climate and that white t-shirt is never going to be seen, then I would do like a sweatshirt or a cotton knit. If I want other pieces in my outfit to stand out, This is the item that will create like a background for those textured items to pop. This section of today's video is in partnership with Fabrique. Fabrique is currently running their Black Friday sale, so they've got 600 designer pieces on sale with discounts up to 50%. The best part is that I do have codes with them that you can stack on top of their current discounts. The thing about Fabrique is that they have designers working for them to create exclusive capsules. So Hannah Yu used to work at Tibi and she designed that coat that I love to wear. So she did a very similar coat, the grey one that I've been wearing, available at Fabrique. It's got a very similar design, you know, it's long, it's got the same collar details, it's got that very straight shape, and it really feels like that same coat that I've been wearing for years. It's 82% wool, and because it's thicker, there's really just a lot of wool here. The herringbone texture on this coat is stunning, and what I like is that it's thick and plushy, but it also feels quite light. So I don't feel like I'm being dragged down by my outerwear. I'm almost certain, you know, pending weather checks, that is the coat that I'll be traveling with this winter. The next item is this Monty bag. And this is a bag that I've been using every day for the last 2 weeks to make sure I had a good feeling of how it functions before this video. This bag is designed by Sophie Juice, who has previously worked at Hermes, Celine, and Fendi. First thing is that a pro of this bag is that it's very, very lightweight. Very lightweight, so you want to use it as that grab and go everyday bag. It's not overly structured, it's not overly heavy. Everything about it is more light and slouchy. It definitely has good capacity because it's very 3D in its shape. So you could put a book in, you can put an umbrella in, you can put a bottle in. Most things will fit in this bag. If you're wondering the material of this bag, it is a top grain leather bag, and they use oil tanning to create this shinier finish. This bag also has hand-stitched details, and the gold is 18 karat gold plated. You'll love this bag if you're looking for an everyday easy bag, but if you want like something super structured, this bag is not that. A standout for Fabrique's clothing are their 100% Australian Merino pieces. So this beautiful cardigan is made from 100% Australian Merino wool. It's not super lightweight, it's got like a medium heft to it, so it does feel warm enough to layer in the winter. You can tell that this is the kind of cardigan I love because it's short, it's cropped, it's in a mix of fun colors and design, but it feels everyday enough to be worn in so many different outfits. This navy skirt, by the way, also 100% Australian Merino. This is a finer fabric, it just drapes so elegantly. It's perfect for work. I feel like it would make a very chic work skirt to be worn with like a blouse or a shirt. But it's nice because on the weekend, when you want to dress it down, you can wear it with a white t-shirt and it doesn't feel out of place. I have a couple of discount codes with Fabrique that you can find down below. These are stackable on top of their existing discounts for Black Friday. Thank you so much for your support. Let's get back into the video. To elevate a winter wardrobe, something I love with every single outfit I wear is burgundy accessories. This very particular shade of burgundy in leather, which is neither too brown nor too red, it just works with every color. I've tried it with everything, it all looks good. So here's a test. It looks great with grey, and they both fall into cooler tones that make them perfect. But at the same time, when I pair this burgundy with something very warm like an olive green, they are so seamless together because it feels earthy. We're in that earth palette, so they go so well together. Not only does it work, it just ends up being the color that ties the outfit together. I can't explain its versatility, but it's 100% there. These shoes are the only shoes I've worn pretty much for the last few months. And no matter if you go for a loafer or a boot in this color, it doesn't have to be the pieces that I'm showing, but this color is really beautiful in elevating an outfit, especially if you're always reaching for black, which I am. Something I don't hear spoken about as much for winter are patterns and prints. If you're like me and you love patterns, you love prints, and in the summer you're wearing things like florals all the time, when it comes to winter, your style can feel very different because there aren't as many prints out there, and you may be craving just a little bit more in your winter outfits. The answer to adding more pattern often lies in knitwear, because it's in knitwear that you can knit in different patterns that will add that subtle patterning back into otherwise plain outfits. I have a strong reliance in the winter on stripes because it's that obvious pattern you can add to your wardrobe. I always go back to this Pinterest outfit I saved a while back, but I think the stripes are incredible, especially when they're in this really fun mix of color. Cables and lace work in knitting is incredible for adding pattern, and that's one of the easiest ways to do it. Just looking out for those stronger cables and lace. Cables often kind of give a stripy look, especially if it's in the sweater, and lace work will create this type of pointel, florally design that looks especially feminine. A lot of ribbing knit patterns will also give you the stripes when you don't want like too much color contrast, but you just want a little bit of pattern in your outfit. I wanted to bring this one up because I know a lot of people in summer who wear pattern, and those people must love pattern in general. So then in the winter, I think sometimes it feels harder to find those pattern pieces, but 100% in the micro patterns, in the stripes, and in the knitwear patterns. Can I just say, the thing about micro patterns is that they can sometimes feel underwhelming when we look at them. Like it's not really an interesting pattern in itself. But I love to be able to mix them together, so like a herringbone with a stripe, or a stripe with like a micro check. Especially in different scale, they can be as subtle as you want them to be, but you can also mix them to create a more dramatic look. If you want to elevate a winter outfit, sometimes it's not even the clothes, it's really in the accessories, like a good scarf. There is definitely a scarf trend these last couple of years, which is the Acne Studio scarf, and that style really just does not suit me. So I want to show you some alternatives that you can play with, experiment with, or look into. I purchased this last year in winter from Chanlu. I love this scarf. It's so beautiful in the way it drapes. I love that there are so many ways to wear it because of this larger shape, and it also comes in so many patterns that I like. This is great to stay warm in because you can wrap it around a few times, but if I didn't need that day, I also love to go smaller. So little silk scarves with fun patterns, fun color. I love little knitted scarves. I make a lot of these, so these are super fun to wear. This is also the most obvious place to add pattern into an outfit. So if you're missing your florals, missing your paisley prints, this is where you can add a lot of that back. In winter fashion, a co-ord or a set is an absolute essential and has been for years and years in my wardrobe. You can wear it for work, you can wear it separately, styled in more casual ways, and the combinations are just endless. So here's what to look for. Instead of going for something very thin, very tight, very bodycon, I would look for something that gave me enough room to be 100% comfortable. If you're very comfortable in it, it becomes a piece or a set that you live in. If it's too fitted, it becomes more for dressier occasions, which is not quite what I'm looking for in this item. I want something that's going to take me from casual to dressy. There's a lot of knitwear sets out there. I do highly recommend natural fiber because there is just so much of it covering the whole body. So if something is going to be a bit stuffy, you will really feel it because there is so much material head to toe. I honestly don't know what I would wear in winter without co-ords. My favorite is Cezanne, and then something that comes second place, I like this one a lot as well, but a little bit more fitted, is the J. Crew style. Merino wool, thick enough that it doesn't show any kind of lumps and bumps in underwear or like just on the body. I also really like this style. Something that will elevate any outfit, but I'll admit is also kind of a current trend, is something that is a nod to heritage and timelessness. It feels weird to call it a trend because they're exact opposites, but there is a resurgence in this nostalgic, more traditional style of clothing. So what I'm talking about are things like Fair Isle, something like cables, something like pearls, things that feel timeless, things that feel like they could have been passed on, have that heritage, maybe even like handmade feeling. I think I've been seeing a lot of, and it feels so chic to add it to an outfit because it gives a feeling that the outfit features old and new. I think I really appreciated this more when I started decorating the home, and I love having like older vintage pieces with something more modern, and that combination makes the home space feel cozy, and I think it's similar in an outfit. As someone who doesn't have very timeless, very classic, traditional style, I love just mixing one item into my outfit. So if my outfit is feeling more quirky, more playful that day, maybe adding in like a pearl necklace or like a pearl something to create a more timeless feeling. Or if I'm wearing a lot of more modern oversized pieces, wearing something that is more cabled and like hand knit to contrast the modernness of everything else. Something that feels very elevating to my eye is actually mixing warm and cool colors together. I feel like generally when we think of color combinations, we think of mixing warm with warm, cool with cool. But in the winter, I really like a mix of warm and cool, especially if you're wearing a lot of grays, a lot of blues, often adding in a bit of brown or khaki or green or yellow. Something warm will make that outfit more cozy, but it also just feels like that finishing piece that it was missing beforehand. And then on the flip side, if you're wearing a lot of earthy tones, so for me, olives and like warm greens, I also find it really chic to add in a bit of grey, because it brings out the colors in the best way. For someone who likes warm tone colors, I sure wear a lot of grey. And I think one of the reasons is because it brings out those warm colors in an outfit. Many years ago on my channel, I mentioned that I like to mix as many neutrals as possible in the winter because there's no such thing as too much. And I feel like this is going off that, where winter outfits look incredible when all these neutrals come together. Neutrals all mix and match really well together. And if you can bring in a lot of them, so more than 3 in an outfit, it actually all feels quite cohesive. Final thing to elevate a winter outfit, let's talk about jewelry. Jewelry tends to get lost in winter styling. Any kind of like dainty little necklace I wear in the winter, it just gets tangled in something, it's completely lost somewhere. So for winter, if there's one jewelry piece that I like to style, it's a chunky, larger earring. Whether you're wearing like a turtleneck or like a typical crew, it all goes really well and it doesn't compete with any of the other stuff that's happening in the layers. Honestly, you can shop your wardrobe because there are so many ways that you can go about this. You can do a big hoop, which is one of my favorites. I've got quite a few like hoopy style of earrings that are bolder, chunkier to add some drama. This is also a great way I like to dress up closer to the festive season, just a little bit more sparkle in the jewelry. I would also do larger pearls. I love like a statement pearl earring as well. This is my favorite and I feel like only jewelry essential during the season. Yes, I might just have my bangles on because of the habit of it, but nothing is as impactful as the earring. If you're a big jewelry lover and you just love to have something around the neck as well, I really love longer chains and charm jumbles. So when you have multiple jumbles you can play with, and these lay really nicely over sweaters. Whereas the shorter chains that I like to wear do get lost very easily in the layers. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you got some winter styling inspo. I'm about to pack for a few weeks away and I'm so excited to pack some of these pieces with me. Definitely this cardigan, definitely the coat, and then I'll pick and choose from the other items. If something did catch your eye from Fabrique, I will have everything linked down below, along with my codes that are stackable for Black Friday. Have a lovely week. I'll see you very soon. Bye.